History is often written on maps. The lines that divide nations are not merely ink on paper, they are the outcomes of wars, treaties, the relentless pursuit of power. Today on October 6, 2025, the map of Eastern Europe is being redrawn by force. The war in Ukraine is not simply a conflict over sovereignty or historical grievances, though those elements are present. It is a brutal, calculated campaign for control over tangible assets. Russia's invasion is a colonial war of the 21st century, aimed at seizing land, resources, the economic future of a neighboring state. Look beyond daily headlines of battles won and lost, and focus on what lies beneath the ground, often framed as security concerns or cultural ties, but the economic dimension is central. As of late 2025, the front lines in Ukraine have solidified into a brutal reality. Russia now occupies roughly 20% of Ukraine. This includes the Crimean Peninsula, annexed in 2014, and vast swathes in the east and south: Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson. Ukrainian forces have shown incredible resilience. Russia's stated goal is full administrative control of these four oblasts, pursued relentlessly through 2024 and 2025. This territory is Ukraine's industrial and agricultural heartland. Some analysts estimate resource value at $12.4 trillion, the majority of Ukraine's coal reserves, significant deposits of natural gas and oil, and critical industrial infrastructure like steel mills and factories. Control provides Russia with a crucial land bridge to Crimea, Mariupol, Berdyansk. Capturing these ports choked Ukrainian exports and rerouted trade. The occupation enriches Russia, while strangling Ukraine's ability to fund defense and rebuild. Ukraine has long been known as the breadbasket of Europe, a title earned from its vast expanses of incredibly fertile Chernozem, or Black Earth, capable of yielding massive harvests of wheat, corn, barley, and sunflower seeds. Before the invasion, Ukraine was a global agricultural superpower, a leading exporter of grain and vegetable oils that helped feed millions. The farmlands now under Russian occupation in the south and east represent a significant portion of this agricultural wealth. By seizing these territories, Russia has captured a vital source of global food supply and a cornerstone of the Ukrainian economy. The control of this farmland serves multiple strategic purposes for Russia. Firstly, it provides a direct economic benefit. Russia can harvest crops in occupied territories and use them domestically, or export for profit, effectively stealing Ukraine's revenue. Secondly, by controlling a larger share of the global grain market, Russia increases its geopolitical leverage. It can influence food prices and use the threat of withholding supplies to pressure other countries, particularly those in the Middle East and Africa, that depend on Black Sea grain. The occupied territories include some of the most productive agricultural land in Ukraine, Kherson and Zaporizhzhia, producing millions of tons of grain, vegetables, and fruit annually. Severing these regions weakens Kyiv's ability to sustain its people and its export economy. It is a direct assault on the nation's economic sovereignty. The disruption has driven price spikes and shortages worldwide. The Black Sea Grain Initiative offered relief, but control of land and ports remains a powerful lever. This is not just the theft of a harvest, it is the capture of a strategic asset for long-term influence. The Donbas region, Donetsk and Luhansk, has historically been the industrial engine of Ukraine. Vast coal mines, sprawling steel plants, heavy manufacturing. It held the vast majority of coal, an estimated 90% of deposits now under Russian control. This is a strategic decapitation of industrial capacity, acquired or destroyed to weaken Ukraine and feed Russia's own economy. While coal and grain are the wealth of the past, this war is also a fight for the resources of the future. Ukraine possesses significant deposits of critical minerals essential for green energy and high-tech manufacturing. These include lithium, titanium, manganese, and rare earth elements. They feed batteries, wind turbines, semiconductors, and advanced military hardware. The territories now occupied by Russia contain a substantial portion of these valuable deposits. By seizing this land, Moscow seeks to control 21st century supply chains. Lithium, white gold, is pivotal as global demand skyrockets. Ukraine holds major recoverable lithium deposits, including Shevchenkivsky and Kruta Balka, sites that fell under Russian control early in the war. Capturing Ukraine's lithium positions Russia to dominate a vital market and gain leverage over Europe's green plans. Beyond lithium, titanium, manganese, zirconium, graphite, and uranium ore. Ukraine is believed to hold Europe's largest supply of recoverable rare earth elements indispensable for smartphones to guided missiles. Securing these resources buffers Russia's high-tech and military sectors while denying adversaries. Europe has sought to diversify away from China's dominance and saw Ukraine as a key partner, nearby and reliable. Russia's invasion shattered this possibility. By seizing mineral wealth, Moscow deepens Europe's vulnerabilities. It undermines Europe's economic security and geopolitical autonomy. Control of resources translates into political influence. Reward friends, punish adversaries. This is not only about subjugating Ukraine, but about reasserting dominance by gripping materials Europe needs to innovate and grow. The European Green Deal's viability is directly challenged by Russia's resource grab. The war in Ukraine is a brutal, multi-layered conflict, but at its heart lies a simple motive: the conquest of land and resources. Russia's invasion is a calculated act of economic plunder on a scale not seen in Europe since the Second World War. By seizing 20% of Ukraine's territory, Moscow has captured agricultural, industrial, and mineral wealth. This is not an accident. It is a primary objective, a colonial campaign to cripple its neighbor, enrich itself, and reshape the geopolitical landscape by securing raw materials of present and future power. For Ukraine, the nation has been robbed of a large share of its economic base, from Black Earth to the industrial heartland of the Donbass and the critical mineral deposits that held the key to future prosperity. The war is an existential struggle, not just for political sovereignty, but for economic survival. Without these resources, rebuilding a modern, independent, prosperous Ukraine becomes exponentially harder. For Russia, captured resources feed its war machine, generate export revenue, and secure critical minerals for technological ambitions. Europe faces a more precarious future, with green ambitions and supply chain security at risk. The 21st century still ties hard power to physical territory and the wealth it contains. The Kremlin aims to cement great power status by absorbing a neighbor's assets. Lines drawn by tanks and artillery are lines of economic destiny. Control of this land and its resources will shape both nations and carry profound implications for the world. Understand the war as a war for wheat, coal, and lithium to grasp the stakes: sovereignty, the future of supply chains, and the right of a nation to own its land and determine its fate.